Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to The Broke Investor. I am Crypto Antonio, and I love her. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Glad to be back with you guys. It's been a very long 4 months, but we're back. We're doing this again. And if you haven't noticed, we got a little upgrade over here. We're running a brand new camera. We got some lights. We've added a little, a couple extra touches here to the YouTube studio. So I want to welcome everyone back, and let's get right into it. So this is the Outlook 2025 video, and I don't know if you've been looking around YouTube, but everybody's kind of releasing one. So here's my take right away. Today, Bitcoin is sitting at a price of about $94,000 US, and it peaked just before the year ended at $108,000 US. My thoughts on this is it's pretty divided because half of the world seems to think Bitcoin is going to start to slump. They're saying that we could be hitting down to 85, 87,000. Some people are even more bearish than that and saying we're going to get down to 70, 71, possibly 71,000 Bitcoin dollars in Bitcoin. I really don't know what to make of this right now, just because I'm overall bullish in the long term for Bitcoin. I do see us having a pullback. I just don't know when it'll happen or how quick. So for me, the way I'm going to be trading this information is I'm just going to wait for the market to move, and I'm going to trade in that direction. I'm not going to be, my heart isn't set on long. My heart isn't set on short. I'm not totally bullish. I'm not totally bearish. But when the market starts to move, and you can say it already has, in a bearish direction, then that's when I'll be placing trades. As for Bitcoin in the future, for the rest of the season, we got Michael Saylor coming out here saying we're going to have a $1 million to $10 million Bitcoin. We got the Kathy Woods saying that it's just going to go like 650,000 is their conservative number for Bitcoin. You know what? I really have nothing to measure that data against, but if investors like that are talking about it, there's going to be a catalyst where people are going to buy. And we've already been told that there are nation states buying it. We obviously know El Salvador has been buying it for a while now. I think they just hit the 6,000 Bitcoin mark. Muy bien, hermanos. Very good. And we see, a lot of crypto and Bitcoin friendly cities and nations starting to emerge. I believe there's some cities in Europe that have open Bitcoin areas. And I believe the city of Vancouver in Canada is also going to be setting up a Bitcoin district. So very bullish on the international stage. And of course, we have the extremely crypto friendly region of the Arab states, the Gulf states, that are just, creating business and infrastructure around cryptocurrency payments platform and as a digital financial asset class. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see another a big Arab state, big oil state that is buying Bitcoin. I can't tell if I'm out of focus here. This is the first video here. This is the first live stream video, so it's kind of hard to see where the focus is lying on the camera. I know if I sit back a little bit, it's looking a little bit clear. So maybe I'll just do that for now. But yeah, overall, again, Bitcoin in the long term, I think it's going to be like a very, very bullish thing. Not wise to short Bitcoin, not wise to short Bitcoin until we do have a cycle top in, and I believe we're still not quite there yet. If you look at different market cycles, I know we have like an 18-year real estate cycle. There's a couple other financial cycles that are in play, and many of them, I believe, are set to start to decline in 2026. But who knows? I can't tell you that. I'm just going by what I've seen and heard and whatnot. So Bitcoin, yeah, really good for Bitcoin. What else do I see happening with Bitcoin in 2025? We see a lot of things like Cardano is doing some Bitcoin stuff on the Bitcoin chain. I think the Bitcoin chain is gonna expand a little more. Getting into the DeFi, the ordinals, and the inscriptions. I think it's going to become more than just a token chain or a coin chain. I think anything can happen on Bitcoin. So we'll leave the Bitcoin section there. And as for, let's go to precious metals, because I think precious metals doesn't get talked about enough. And I am Crypto Antonio, and I love silver. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, anything you see on this video is not financial advice. Please do your own research on any trade, investment, project, protocol, blockchain, token, investment, fund, ETF, etc. Do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. If you want to get financial advice, see your financial advisor. This here is only for entertainment purposes only. So what do I see happening with the precious metals? So I think gold right now we're sitting at about 2,600 US dollars for gold. I think that's kind of the benchmark right now towards the end of the year. I believe it may have pulled back. I looked at the price earlier. I see gold at the end of the day, I think everything's going to go up in value. Everything's going to go up in value because Donald Trump is going to come in as US president number 47, and he's going to stimulate the economy because he's a businessman. And what stimulating the economy means in the United States means printing more money, printing funds, right? Printing more dollars. So I think more dollars are going to get printed, and that's going to increase the value of a lot of these assets, because as you know, as we've discussed in our previous videos, money printing dilutes the value of currencies, right? And if you don't know what that is, you can go back to another videos. We kind of go into that. Basically, when governments print money, it's like adding water to your Pepsi, right? Your Pepsi is the value, and then there's got to be more Pepsi to go around, so you add water to the, or even, it's like rum or vodka or hard liquor. They add water to it to get it around, but it's not as effective when you drink it. So it's like money's the same thing. It works the same way. When there's just so much money in a country, in a monetary system, once more of it is added, it dilutes the value of it, and then you need more units of that money to buy anything. And I'm sure you're feeling it right now with inflation across the world, whatever. So I believe Donald Trump is going to print more money, and that's going to stimulate the economy. And because the dollar gets weaker, these assets will cost more. It'll take more dollars to buy them. Therefore, it will appear that their value is increasing. But don't be fooled. It is the value of the dollar that is decreasing the value of your local fiat currency that's actually going down, and not these assets necessarily going up. But, it's hard to say with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a fixed supply. It's in high demand. So that's why that's going up. So yeah, the gold, I see that happen. I was talking about gold. I see that happening with the gold. I think that we're going to see more mining. It's going to happen with gold, just because we've seen in the last 3 years, central banks around the world have been hoarding gold, buying it hand over fist. The Chinese are buying like crazy. The Indians are buying like crazy. Every major central bank is buying like crazy, and the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, has deemed gold to be a tier 1 asset, which means everyone's getting gold because it's kind of like the baseline value of how we measure value on this planet and have for the last 5,000 years. So never a bad idea to get some gold yourself. Where you get you can get like fractions of an ounce. If you can get a couple ounces, great. A little more, even better. That is truly I think it's the best store of value. I mean, you can argue Bitcoin, but I'm not going to get into that. I personally like them both. I like Bitcoin and gold. I think it's the old world and the new world coming together. I think you're maybe smarter than the average bear if you have both. But again, not financial advice. So I think I could see something. Oh, so the mining. So I think miners are going to be a good play. Mining stocks, gold mining stock. This applies to silver as well, because we know silver kind of trails behind gold when it performs, and even sometimes outperforms gold. So I do see gold miners becoming more valuable as more gold is encouraged to be pulled out of the ground. I think it's gonna get them exploring, finding deposits and bringing that to market. That is a very slow process, though. Like gold miners that's a long-term play. If you are getting into the gold mining stocks, that's not a quick one there. That's a long-term play typically, unless we see some very well, let's say some events that will push that up even further. But yeah, I think silver is going to be the one that really is to keep an eye on right now because, like we've covered in our previous videos, silver is in demand not just as a monetary metal that you can, gold and silver are the original money, but silver is used in everything we use electronically every day. Batteries into EVs. It goes into radar systems, radio systems, weapon systems, navigation systems, radar systems, communication systems, chips, processors, anything that you turn on, like your PlayStation, your video game consoles, they have silver in them. And nobody really looks at silver. Everyone's like, oh, because it's been undervalued and manipulated. And yes, it has been manipulated in the markets. You can look at who's trading Bitcoin on the major exchanges, and you're going to see big banks are shorting Bitcoin, or they're shorting silver constantly, trying to push down that price. So yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a silver explosion, not only because of the demand that we have it in our new green high tech world, but I think also because we see countries nationalizing their reserves. We see Mexico. I think Peru did it too. They're nationalizing their mines and not exporting as much, which is why I think this Elon Trump character, Elon Trump. Oh man, that's a good one. Elon Musk is kind of hunting around looking for cheap silver, maybe even opening up a couple silver mines, looking to kind of get into that. Just because I think they will have to, if they can't get the silver out of the mines from the countries that have been letting them, they're going to have to buy it from the holders, the everyday people, or the institutions that hold physical, and will sell at a premium. Because yeah, I think I do see that happening personally. Uh, just because silver is great, and it's needed for everything. Like it really is more of an industrial metal than a monetary metal. But hey, it's still a monetary metal at the end of the day. It has been for thousands of years. They used it in Rome. They used it in Greece, everywhere. So you guys gotta let me know if this video is fuzzy. Please, like, leave a comment. If like I'm still tweaking the system. This is the first live stream, so I just wanted to make sure everything's good for the next one. But the lighting's great. Let me know about the sound. The sound is going to be another one. We have a mic, but we just gotta. We're working on getting that microphone online. We gotta sit with that. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So we did Bitcoin, precious metals. Let's look at. I'm not a big stocks guy, but I do. Whenever I do hear big names, I pay attention. So I know right now that the stock market is a little like it's just hit some all-time highs. I think the Nasdaq and the S&P specifically, and that's a thing. Like I heard a phrase. Someone said that the U.S. stock market is now America's savings account because um, so many Americans hold more stock than they do dollars in savings, which which I can see why it's been going higher over the last few years. But then that's also very concerning because we know markets don't always just go up, and there is this attitude out there that, oh, the stocks always go up. You can never go wrong with stocks because they always go up over time. Again, is it that the stock is actually worth more value, or is it that the dollars being, you know, devalued and worth less, therefore giving the illusion of a more valuable stock market? I couldn't really break that down for you, but I think there's something to it. Then again, more people are jumping into stocks, tech stocks, and all sorts of, your blue chips, your Coca-Colas, Walmarts, those types of things. And I think the stock market is going to have a correction eventually. I think as all these financial cycles kind of come to their cycle end in the 2026 timeframe, we could see that pullback start to happen. And I've heard President-elect Donald Trump recently say that we're looking at a depression in the financial markets in the United States. So they might know something we don't. We've seen Warren Buffett sell lots of stocks off in 2024. Mark Zuckerberg sell lots of stock. So the biggest guys in the game are getting out. And if you're not paying attention to that, you really should, because your goal is to follow smart money, big money and smart money, right? And I know Warren Buffett's sitting on a massive cash position right now. So for me, it's like, yeah, the stock market's probably getting a little overheated. And I think the beginning of the decline could start this year in 2025. I always like keep an eye on these things. That's why I'm really paying attention to Bitcoin right now, because Bitcoin is starting to dip. But because it's so volatile, I could see it recovering very quickly. But I always watch crypto. Always seems to kind of move first, and then, or maybe it's the other way around. But I've interpreted that crypto moves first, and then you start to see, the other more established asset classes start to bleed off or rally, whichever other direction it's going. But I think for the short term, we are seeing a pullback. I think we're going to see a pump generally in all the markets. Fresh all-time highs across the board, and then we're going to see like a big dip. So that's kind of where I stand on the stocks. Of course, like you can always get like a hedge position in stocks. You can, like remember COVID, people were buying like Johnson and Johnson, toilet paper manufacturers, and all sorts of. Oh, I thought my camera's just died. I'm not used to this thing. It's like beeping and making all these noises. But I'm going to try to fly through these. I'm already 16 minutes in. So anyways, yeah, you can hedge with the stocks, your blue chips, Coca-Colas, those types of things. I have to really brush up on that some more, because I think it is a good, wise way to trade and invest. So stock market's overheated. Let's leave that there. Geopolitical scenarios. So Donald Trump is coming in. We've seen the whole world already start to position for Trump coming in as a president. Let's hope he's protected. Let's hope he's got some very good bodyguards and very good people on his side to make sure he stays safe, because I don't know, like the world's already in such a tumultuous place. If something happens to Donald Trump, I think it's just gonna, oh man, it's just gonna send the world upside down even more, or again. I see China has been making some very bold statements saying that they will reunify with Taiwan, and that's very concerning because one, Taiwan makes all the chips, most of the chips, the processing chips and graphics cards and basically all the chips that run the new electronic world we've created, and that's also caused China to start the biggest military buildup since Germany in the 1930s. And this is true. The buildup we're seeing right now of Chinese military infrastructure and weapons is the largest we've seen since World War II. That is a fact. And they plan on almost tripling their warhead count, a nuclear warhead count. They currently sit on about 600 nuclear missiles, China, and they're looking to expand that to 1,800 in a very, very short amount of time. I think in the next year or two. And that's very scary, because if they want to go and get Taiwan, put them back under Chinese rule, mainland rule, who knows what else might be a part of that military campaign. I've heard things about China looking to strike the U.S., hot war against the U.S., and that's very, very concerning, Now, with that being said, we also have the conflict in the Middle East with Israel. Israel is in Lebanon right now. They're fighting and shooting at Yemen. Of course, the debacle in Palestine. Anyways, so that's just Israel, right? And that doesn't count all the other conflicts kind of happening in the area. But I think that's going to affect crude oil transport, not necessarily crude oil prices, because I do think that as it gets more difficult to extract energy resources out of the Middle East, it will encourage other nations to boost production. So let's say if we had all of the Western Hemisphere, Canada, the U.S., Mexico, Venezuela, Um, I don't know who else has oil in that area, but I think if the entire West started to produce, they could supply as much oil as the Middle East does. If that does kind of get become hard to extract and ship around the world. So I think the war in Ukraine, I think the Russia situation is another big concerning one. We know that Putin's personal palace was attacked. And honestly, I just don't. I think it's all these BRICS countries. All these BRICS countries seem to be getting ready for war, right? Russia's already in some wars. China's looking to start a war. Iran is, they're an oil partner with China. They ship oil to China. They're doing proxies, like they're fighting, and there's so much stuff going on with Turkey right now. So we got NATO countries, BRICS countries, all in proxy wars or getting ready to actually start hot wars with each other, or BRICS NATO countries get into hot wars with NATO countries, and I think that's just going to be I just want to know because I want to see how we can benefit from these things. I know it's terrible. War is, it's the greatest failure of diplomacy. But at the end of the day, how are we going to trade that? How are we going to get ahead? How are we going to prosper? So yeah, and I guess on the forex side, the foreign exchange, concerned with the Japanese yen and the Bank of Japan still kind of they've recovered a little bit, but with the way they're doing things, I don't know how if it's going to continue. If it's going to stay afloat too long, and of course, the U.S. dollar is the one we all really keep an eye on. I'm not too big on the forex scene. I think when you talk forex, you're basically looking at the U.S. dollar, right? That's the global currency. The Chinese yuan as well. I know that they're not Chinese yuan is not doing very good right now, which also makes me, leans into the fact that they might go to war because, countries go to war when the economic situation isn't the best, right? So I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, this video is 22 minutes long, probably one of the longer videos I've done. I'm going to be trying to do live streams now just because, I shoot it once and it's on YouTube right away. I don't have to like before I was doing all the videos on my phone. All the videos I was doing before were all done off my phone. So I'm pretty proud of myself for getting this set up. And we'll tweak it as we go here, and we'll bring you more stuff. Another series I'd like to continue is going to be the future of money. That's I think we did 2 parts a few months ago there. So we're going to keep up with that. I really like that series. I think it's important to see where everything's kind of going with technology and finance as they're emerging at a pace that we can't even comprehend. Oh yeah, I'll throw this in with these major financial cycles coming to an end in 2026. Around then, I think that's going to be when we start to see the first CBDCs go live, and I think like what 90%, 95% of the countries in the world, or like at least the biggest countries in the world, anyone who's in the UN or has any sort of presence on the international stage, a greatly is involved. I know that Canada, US, all of Europe, Australia, basically anyone in the G20, they're already working on it. So if you are dependent on government, I think those individuals will be the first ones to be forced to get on it. And who knows what kind of sorts of let's say the market does crash and AI is booming, which it is. That's another topic I didn't cover. But let's say another bunch of people are starting to go out of work. Your graphic designers, a lot of creatives, or a lot of people, even in management, um, they're going to be replaced by AI. And I heard this very interesting statement that with the rise of AI, we'll have a huge portion of the population that will not reskill, and they're going to be labeled the useless class. And so once things are really tough, should they get there, and the useless class is great in numbers, and they're not, and the economy's pretty much at a grinded halt, then that's when the CBDCs are going to come out and whatever conditions come with them to be able to spend money in the system. So, yeah, who knows? What does that even imply? And like, will you even be able to leave your country if you have a CBDC? Like, if I got CBDC from my country that I live in and I want to travel to another country, what do I convert my local CBDC to? Will I even be able to leave? Because they're not going to accept my digital central bank money, or will they? Or will there be some sort of exchange in place? These are the things that are coming into my mind. And then where does the crypto kind of play into that? Like, it's getting pretty wild out there. And now that we're seeing banks, like this Ripple thing is getting crazy. It's another thing we gotta stay on top of. The Ripple XRP, that could replace Swift. And let's say we have XRP, whatever, XLP, whatever the stable coin is that they're going to launch. If they have that and BRICS is working on their own, monetary transfer system, or potentially even their own BRICS digital coin or token, like, is XRP going to plug into that? Will they, like, all these financial systems are going to be digital and potentially interchangeable, and that is going to change everything. So I think I'll leave it there. 26 minutes and 40 seconds in. My name is Crypto Antonio. Thank you for joining me on my first live stream. Please check it out. Please leave feedback and let me know what topics you want me to cover. I know that I really do we are kind of geared towards like the entry level guy here, just because, I think that everybody should know about finance and what's happening with the money and the system. So let me know what you want me to check out, research, and I will get it done. And until then, we will see you tomorrow, because I'm going to be back tomorrow, and my goal is to do this a lot more often. So give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe. If you stayed all the way to the end, I want to thank you very much, and we'll see you. Peace.